o'clock on Wednesday, June 29th. I call the Finance Committee Appointment Committee meeting to order. This is a hybrid meeting. I'll take attendance by roll call. Mark Haddad.
Here.
Dawn Anderson, here.
So before we jump into that, we also have a joint Finance Committee meeting posted for this time as well. So I'll call the Finance Committee meeting to order. Present, we have Sue Robbins, Mark Haddad, Greg Marr, Nick Rue, and Angelina Correa is, sorry?
And Skip now.
And Skip, and Skip.
Oh, Skip is here.
And Skip. Correa on remote. So, Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
First item on the agenda is to conduct interviews to fill the vacancy on the Finance Committee left by Andy Jefferson. There are 3 candidates who have submitted applications of interest, and the first up will be Gary Jem.
Yes.
You want to come and have a seat at the table so that we can hear you on the mic?
Can I, just a point that Sue wanted me to, Susan Fiacco wanted me to point out tonight. So this is there was a previous vacancy and we had to fill it with a precinct 2 candidate.
Yep.
Gary, you had applied at that time, and there was another candidate that applied at that time. So we did re-advertise, but Susan did reach out to the 2 candidates to ask them if they would be willing to reapply for the vacancy. Gary came forward, the other candidate chose not to.
Chose not to.
So I just wanted to put that in the record, so it's in the record.
All right. Okay. So Gary, could you please introduce yourself? Oh, I'm sorry.
There's a question.
One very quick question. I am one of the other candidates. Would you like me to stay in the room or leave until it is my time?
It is a public meeting. You are more than welcome to stay.
Thank you.
And then, we're going to ask you different questions, so don't think you're going to get the same questions.
No,
Right, Dawn?
That's right.
She pumped me for what I was going to say, so.
So if you could just introduce yourself and give us a little bit of your background.
My name is Gary Jem, and I've been a resident of the town of Grafton for a little over 2 years. And I'm not new to Grafton. My family has been in Grafton for many years. And so when I had the chance, because of my job, I couldn't move to Grafton. So when I retired, I moved to Grafton. And so I'm married. I've been married to the same woman for 47 years. We've been together 50 years. And I have 3 children. And they're all grown up, and I have 6 grandchildren and a 7th on the way. When I got out of high school, I joined the Navy, and then when I had the opportunity, I joined the police department, and I was with the police department for 33 years. And I went up through the ranks. It's a civil service department, so you had to compete through civil service. And then I made deputy police chief, and I was put in charge of administration. And I had a lot of projects, building rehab, building maintenance, the budget. And then as the chief, I had full responsibility for the budget. Not just the police department's budget, but trying to integrate it with the city's budget that is really the positions of the city council. City council sets their objectives, their goals. The city manager tries to bring a unified budget together, and we're all part of that. So that's my budgetary experience. On the education side, when I went to school part-time, I went to Nichols to get my MBA, and I had never had an intention of joining the police department, but things work out a certain way. I gave up that Saturday, I took the civil service test, and I made an excellent career with it. So that's me in a nutshell.
It's a great nutshell.
Yes.
No, thank you.
So you've been in town, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So you've been in town for 2 years. Have you attended town meeting?
I have not attended a town meeting, and I can tell you why. Shortly after I was retired, well, actually 3 years after I retired, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and so I had a rough 3 years. So probably about 6 months since I've been truly healthy. So COVID hit, and for a long time I was neutropenic, and
Sure.
when
Yep.
when COVID hit, I had more masks and gloves than you could even imagine. I mean, I just giving them out to everybody because of I had to wear them all the time. But so that's really why. And to be honest with you too, I needed to take a break from the politics, and I attended almost every city council meeting, community meetings, budget meetings, public safety meetings. So, I really needed to step back for a little while.
What did you do to prepare to come in and see us tonight to
Well,
learn
I
about the
did. I
finance
did
committee?
take a look at the budget.
Okay.
Was one of the things that I did, and I looked at some of the goals and objectives, and I wanted to get a sense of, well, like most communities, the biggest portion of the budget is for education, and rightly so. I mean, that's the future, and the rest is spread out amongst many different departments. And so I took a look at the budget. It's approximately $71 million, and I looked at some of the capital that was outlined online, and so I kind of did a little bit of an overview of the budget.
Do you understand the role of the finance committee here in Grafton? What our role is?
From what I gather, from what I read, it's really so the select board sets the goals and objectives. The budget committee, from what I understand, meets with all the different departments. They formulate a budget based on the goals and objectives of the select committee, and then that's presented at some point in time, and then voted on.
Our job as the finance committee is to work with the town administrator on the budget. We meet with all the department heads and we review the various line items and figure out where the budget's gonna be, revenues and things like that. We're also responsible to review and make recommendations on every warrant article that goes before the town meeting. And we hold public hearings, and there's a lot of time that we spend together. We're a very tight-knit group, right? And we enjoy the process. It's a good committee, and we have a lot of fun doing very important work for the town. So that's what we do in a nutshell. That's all the questions I have, Don.
Okay, Finance Committee is here to ask any additional questions, so if anyone has any other questions that haven't been covered, yes.
So one of the things that Mark mentioned is that there's a couple times a year where there are a lot of meetings, with 3 or 4 Saturdays in a row and a couple evening meetings, and the Saturdays are most of the morning. And that's primarily in the spring, and then a little bit lesser in the fall because we don't have the full budget to review for town meeting. Is that something you think you'd be able to participate in?
Yes, I saw that schedule online, and it's I'm retired.
Yep.
And I'm never going to hold a full-time job, so I do have the time, so it wouldn't be a problem for me.
Thank you.
I don't have a question, just a comment that all the finance committee members take different departments and we meet one-on-one with the department heads to go over their budget and then come back and discuss that. So that's another thing that we do that you have to have some time for during the week to meet with the
Sure,
department
no, I
heads.
understand that. I understand that.
I'm not giving up the police department, Gary. I'm telling you right now.
I was
right?
going to say this, and no disrespect to the police department, but I spent 33 years in the police department. If I could have any other budget, if I'm selected, that would be the budget.
Those of you remote, any questions?
Nope.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
I just, if I
Please.
could, I just have one quick question. What's the selection process? I know, I didn't meet the third candidate, but I met the woman here today, and she's a wonderful woman, and we kind of joked about it, competing, but I don't, really look like we're competing, but I was just wondering what the process was from today.
So once we've interviewed all three of you, we'll have a discussion. I'll take recommendations from the finance committee for the candidate that they would like to see take the position, and then Mark and I will have a vote. We'll take a motion on the candidate that we want to recommend. So you'll know before the end of the night.
So this should all take place today?
Tonight, yeah, it's a three-member appointment committee. There's only two of us here tonight,
Yep.
but it's a three-member appointment committee that votes to fill the vacancies.
Okay,
But we like
No,
to
it-
include the entire finance committee in the process so they get to meet the candidate and, because it's all about fit too, you know, who,
oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand that, believe me,
And
I understand that.
the finance committee has more of an idea of what they're looking to, what their needs are than I do.
Okay, great.
And
Yeah, we tend to not like people that have baseball hats on.
What was that?
that's funny because I almost wore my new Woo Sox hat today. And I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself, did I? My name is Dawn Anderson. I'm the town moderator. I run town meeting. So,
Well, nice to meet you.
thank you. And Mark,
and I'm the chair of the finance committee and I represent the finance committee on the appointment committee. It's one member of the finance committee, the moderator, and the other member is the town clerk, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight.
couldn't be here tonight.
I sort of gathered that since you're sitting in the big chair. But I appreciate your time and I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate your interest in serving and coming out and twice applying for the we couldn't interview the last time because you were living in the wrong precinct.
Yeah.
Right.
The way it sets up is you have to have at least one representative from one of the 5 precincts, and you can have no more than four in any one precinct. So we had a vacancy in precinct 2, and we needed to fill that vacancy because there was no other member from that precinct. That's why we couldn't interview the first.
No,
one.
no, I understand perfectly. I understand.
Excellent. Thank you so
Great.
much. It was
I
nice to meet you.
appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Hi, Victoria. Do you want to come on up?
Hello, I would love to.
We're not going to make you guys duke it out or anything.
I would lose
Maybe-
handedly, so I appreciate that.
We're gonna make you do math in your head.
Okay, great.
And, you know,
Nobody brought cookies?
Oh goodness, fell through the cracks. Sorry.
so Victoria,
Yes, ma'am.
as I said, I'm Dawn Anderson. I'm the moderator. This is Mark Haddad. He is the chair of the finance committee, and we would just love to hear a little bit about your background and why you're interested.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Victoria Duckworth. I've been here in Grafton for about 6 years now. I moved out for a job opportunity from the great state of Arizona. So as you can imagine, the winters have been a little bit brutal, but my blood has thickened. I am a product manager in biotech. And essentially what that means is that, in a word, what I do is I'm like the mini CEO of the product line that I create for my customers, who are scientists, research physicians, research technicians of the ilk. And my primary job is to, A, ensure that I am creating something that is of value and utility to the people that I am serving, i.e. my scientific constituents. And B, is profitable. I also need to bring in revenue to the companies that I'm working for. So any given day, my job is 10 to 50% finance related. I'm responsible for the P&L of the product line that I oversee and integrating that information into the overall P&L for my company. I am responsible for negotiating with vendors and our suppliers for the best deals, be it one-offs or supply agreements, which of course flows into the P&L, ensuring that our margins are healthy. I'm also in charge of forecasting pro forma, and do in fact have a what we call a professional science master's, which is an MBA for scientists that helped me prepare for this role. On a personal level, I do not have any children, but I do have 5 pets and a 1,000 square foot garden, which I consider my 6th baby, which I tend to regularly. And again, have lived here in Grafton with my husband, who is also a research scientist, for 6 years.
Do you work remote or do you travel or what? what's your schedule like?
Yeah,
Just
great,
curious.
great question. I'm 2 to 3 days in the office, and my new role is actually in Seaport. So I do travel into South Boston 2 to 3 days a week.
Not too bad. So, if I may?
Yes, please.
So I'll ask you the same question, so you know what I'm gonna ask. So do you attend town meeting, and what did you do to prepare for this interview tonight? What do you know about the finance committee? So that's actually 3 questions.
I'll start with number 1. I did attend the most recent town committee. It was the town meeting. It was the first town meeting that I had attended.
What'd you think? Moderator was wonderful, wasn't she?
Just the best I've ever seen. Can I tell you the jokes? Chef's kiss. No, here's what I really loved about it. I guess I can take a step back. Government and the inner mechanisms machina of what the individuals do that should serve us as private citizens has been a thread that has fascinated me my entire life. Like I was the president of my speech and debate club in high school. Like I was a cool kid, right? And it was getting to the point where, you know, I had been online enough that I'm getting really interested. I'm reading these things. I'm seeing where the contention is coming from. And to go to the town meeting and see the passion and the education and the knowledge that our citizens bring, I mean, like, that's really heartening. And it was very motivating for me to want to be a part of this. So that's kind of how I felt about town meeting. I really enjoyed it. I guess next step to prepare for this particular session, to understand what this committee does, I took more of a holistic approach. Sort of started going down, well, what are each of the committees in the town? Where are the gaps? Where are we prioritizing our resources? Where are the things that we think are important, right? Seeing who those individuals were, seeing what the responsibilities of those particular committees were, and seeing how could I best make an impact in them. So, you know, it was kind of from a personal perspective. Like, I have a very strong finance background. This makes a lot of sense for me to put myself in this position. But also, because the town, this particular committee does have an impact on all of the other committees, does touch warrant articles, it also is the most holistic place to actually have a say in all the things that I'm passionate about, like green space, like education, preservation.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt you for 1 second.
Please
We
do.
do like the environment, and I want that to be duly noted. by town meeting.
Please note that.
Yes. Right?
Duly
Mark,
noted.
you
Thank you,
need to
Dawn.
have a streaming banner across the bottom of the screen for that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go
No,
on.
you're fine. You're fine. I hope that answers your 3 in 1.
Great answer. Appreciate it.
As you said, you've looked at what the committee does. I assume you're okay with the meeting schedules, both for leading up to town meeting and the departmental reviews and all of that.
Yes, I understand the time commitment, and I'm willing to make it.
Okay.
Is your dog also in the contest?
So my dog is not up for mayor.
Oh, okay.
She decided that the competition was too stiff, and she decided to bow out.
A lot of cool dogs in that competition.
is.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
I went online today, voted. There's over 4,000 votes.
Yeah,
It's
there's
amazing.
there's tracking to be more people voting for this dog mayor than we had in the last election.
I think so. We're absolutely correct.
So-
Absolutely correct.
Of course, when you could vote more than once.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
That
part
makes
of
it
it.
That helps. That helps.
I thought she was going to disable that, but apparently she did not. I see Angelina has her hand up.
Yes, so in the other towns that you've lived in, I have 2 questions. Have you been involved in government at all in those towns? And my other question is, when you were looking through the different committees, were there any other committees that were interesting to you in the town?
Yeah, both great questions. The only other town that I had lived in and been the eligible age to vote was Tucson, Arizona, a rather large municipality with which I was in school. So no, I was not involved. This would be my very first official position within a town or city government. Some of the other committees, however, that I was interested in looking into did in fact involve the Grafton Land Trust. I am very interested in the environment. And really that was kind of the only other one that kind of struck my fancy. I kind of saw the finance committee and fell in love with the idea of
We are
My
a great
math-
group. I don't blame you for.
Well, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yep.
It's all about the people.
My favorite meeting to watch, so, other than my own.
That's very kind of you to say.
It's very entertaining.
We do have a lot of fun at our meetings.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, ma'am, I do not. I believe that the one question that I had about procedure was also answered, and I think I have a good understanding of the time commitment, and I'm comfortable with it. Kind of short bursts of.
Yeah, so for example, after tonight, we probably won't meet again until end of the summer, August, September. And then once the select board sets the warrant for town meeting, that's when we get very busy and we'll have consecutive meetings of, reviewing all the warrant articles. Then we have a small lull from town meeting until such time as the town administrator submits his budget. And then we'll be very, very busy with budgets and then into the town meeting warrant. And then that's the year. So there's like 3 times a year where we're really busy. And we get together a lot and have a lot of meetings.
Sounds doable.
Yep.
There's anything I'm used to with meetings.
And finance committee also, we represent the finance committee on other committees. So we do that as well. So there's a lot we do behind the scenes that nobody really sees, but there's a lot we do.
Yeah, I absolutely have the bandwidth and would look forward to the opportunity. So thank you for your time.
Do you have a baseball cap? I'm just wondering if that's
I do have a baseball cap.
it better be a Red Sox cap.
It is a Red Sox cap.
All right, that's fine.
I left my Diamondbacks cap in Arizona. Did not want to offend.
Excellent choice.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
You too as well.
So is Kyle online?
I don't see him yet.
No, he's not due till 6:30. We're
We're a
ahead of
little
schedule.
ahead of schedule.
Would you like to approve the minutes or take a look at the
Oh,
minutes?
yes, we could take something out of order if you
we-
want. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our meeting on May 18th,
I-
2022.
So moved.
Motion made, seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. I declare the minutes approved.
Kyle's in the Q&A. He's
Oh, good.
here. So.
Welcome him in.
Perfect.
Thank you, Angelina.
Where is he?
Yeah.
He'll pop
So
up.
do you have to re-ask him to join as a panelist?
I forget how to do this again, Mark.
So click on his name, and then you'll have a screen come down. It'll say promote to panelist. Promote him to panelist. And then he should pop up on the screen.
And then one of them is going to get booted to the other side.
Correct. There he is.
There he is.
Here we go.
Skip.
There he is.
There he is.
Hello.
Hi, Kyle.
Hello.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you for having me and thank you for being flexible for the Zoom meeting. My company is doing our Pride celebration today, and I am the office lead for our LGBTQ plus ERG. So important I was here today, so appreciate the flexibility that we're able to do a Zoom meeting.
Not a problem at all. You were not here earlier for the introduction, so my name is Dawn Anderson. I'm the town moderator and the chair of the Finance Committee Appointment Committee. And this is Mark.
Hi, Mark Haddad. I'm the representative from the Finance Committee on the Appointment Committee. Nice to meet you. We have one more member, and that's the town clerk, but unfortunately she can't be here tonight, so you're stuck with Dawn and I and the rest of the Finance Committee.
Yes, we like to have the Finance Committee sit in because you all are the ones who are going to be working together, so it's good to get a sense of how your interactions go. So we're just going to start by having you give us a little introduction and background.
Sure. No, thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for taking the time to interview us today. So my name is Kyle James. Have been a Grafton resident for a little over a year and a half now. I currently serve on the Capital Improvement Planning Committee and as an election worker. So jumped right in as soon as I moved here. I knew I wanted to get involved in local government. And I guess the reason I wanted to join the Finance Committee, so I am a person who just really believes that if there's someone who can do more for the town and can give back in any type of way and has the skills to do so, they are morally obligated, if so said, to do so. So I believe I have the skills for the Finance Committee to really give back to the town. So I work now as an associate director at an advertising agency, and part of my job is overseeing the budgets and the finances of the clients here at my agency. For the two clients I'm responsible for, they handle budgets in the several millions to be dispersed out in large campaigns, totaling in the millions, to small campaigns down to the hundreds of dollars. It's our responsibility of me and my team to be stewards of their budgets, be stewards of the dollars to be spent appropriately, to be accounted appropriately, and to ensure that the dollars are working as hard as possible for our clients. I've had this job I worked this agency for about 6 years. And about 3 years in, we went through a new financial billing and accounting process, and was tapped on a team of 3 to lead the revamp of that process across all of our 5 offices. So led that process, created a new training document and training process for all of our 600 plus employees, and train that across all 5 offices that we have in the U.S. And I still teach that to this day. The process is still in this day, still part of our overall training documents for all new employees who join my agency. And in general, I hope to bring that type of budget stewardship and accountability to the town. So definitely have an interest in serving the town more. I love Grafton. The town welcomed me and my partner with open arms when we moved here. I've really enjoyed my work on the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. When I started that work in February of 2020, February 2021. Years fly by in the pandemic.
Yes, they do.
Yes. So that's a little bit about me, kind of why I want to be on the committee. I hope to be a great member, but I caught a little bit of Victoria's end of her Q&A, and it's kind of knowing the caliber you get on this committee. I think that any one of us could be great additions. So appreciate you taking the time to interview us, and I'm available for any questions.
If I may?
Yes, sir.
On the Capital Planning Committee, what do you enjoy doing, and what has your role been on that committee?
Yeah, so
And the most important question is, what do you think of the chair of that committee? But you can save that for later.
I enjoy everyone I work with on that committee. Honestly, my work on that committee has really fueled me to want to do more with the town. I really enjoyed the work. I love diving down deep into the budgets and kind of understanding the why behind the allocation. I love to, kind of read from the different department heads as to, why they believe that the improvements are necessary. And then, kind of go through the process with the committee to understand, okay, this is a priority and this is why, and this may take urgency over this. This has been on the, the list of improvements for a few years now. So, we might want to weigh that in versus an urgent new request. So I really love diving down deep into that, really diving into the reasoning. That's kind of part of, what I do at my current company, and what I enjoy the most is, identifying which proposals move forward that will best help, my clients, but in this case, the town, move forward, and how the money can best be spent. So, it's just a lot of fun, and, I'm a numbers guy, so always fun to dive deep into budgets.
So you're familiar with the role of the Finance Committee. You understand what our job is, obviously, from working with the Capital Planning Committee. So I'm not going to ask you what you know about the Finance Committee, because obviously you know that. You've been to town meeting?
Yes.
How do you feel about, what do you think of the town meeting process?
I really enjoy it. I'm happy that we are a town meeting where anyone can be, a voter versus some of the larger towns where you have to elect the appointees. I think it's a good representation of the democratic process. I think it's a fun chaos, if you will, at times with all the paddles going up, and I have a lot of respect for Dawn and how she counts everything.
I was going to say,
able to-
she is a voting member of this committee. Kyle, you
Hey,
better-
hey, yeah. No, I don't know how you do it. I just the sheer number of paddles that go up. It's a talent, honestly, that you have. But no, I think it's a great process. I both participated in it and worked it as an election worker, and love the process.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
So, do you understand the time commitment for the finance committee, especially around budgeting, several Saturdays in a row, some evenings, and outside meetings with departments during, generally during town working hours? Would you be able to?
I do. And I, just to kind of to test to that, I applied for the finance committee back when there was an opening, I believe in December of last year, and ended up withdrawing my application due to a fact that I had a family member who was involved in a serious motor vehicle accident. So trying to figure out the commitment I had with taking care of her, being one of her potential caretakers. I did withdraw in respect to the time commitment that the committee does have. But since that's, all been worked out, and she's been feeling much better, and I'm in a good place at work where, pending the occasional Pride party in June, I have a pretty free evenings. So I do understand the commitment. I'm ready for it, and I'm happy to serve that commitment on the finance committee.
Is there a prohibition? I'm just curious. I don't know the
Is
answer.
there a
to this.
what?
A prohibition from serving on, being on capital planning and
Capital planning.
finance committee? Okay. just wanna make sure.
I'm on. Those.
You're on both.
Yes.
Okay. So Kyle, in terms of, if you are appointed to the finance committee, you're going to stay on capital planning as well?
I plan to, yes.
Okay. I should have known that answer, Greg. That was
Yeah.
kind of a dumb question. Sue, scratch that from the minutes. I did not ask that question, please. I don't have any other questions.
Do you guys have any other questions?
No.
No. Nick? Angelina and Skip, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right.
I have no questions. It sounds like all three are good candidates for this job and are very capable of handling what it takes to work on a multiple member board.
Kyle, do you have any questions for us?
None at this time. No, I am familiar with the process, familiar with what the finance committee does. So, no questions, but just thank you all again for taking the time to interview me today. And again, just thank you again for the flexibility to meet over Zoom.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Can we appoint all three and have them rotate?
This is hard.
This is very hard. I don't know.
I think this is the hardest we've had.
It really is. These are three awesome candidates with such great backgrounds and enthusiasm to join this committee.
Yeah.
And they're all very different, I feel like, too. They all bring something different to the table.
I think you're 100% correct, Angelina. I agree with you. Wow, this is a great committee. Anybody want to resign and create a couple of vacancies?
What are you looking at me for?
No, I'm just looking all around the room, Sue.
In time.
So the last time we had multiple candidates, what we did was have a little discussion, and then I went through and asked each of you who you would recommend for the position. So do we have any further discussion on the candidates that we want to?
Any feedback or anything?
Any feedback? Any?
So I will say I've worked with Kyle several times before through CIPC and election worker. He actually works for me in my precinct. So I have more familiarity with him there. But I say everybody, I'd be happy with it with any of the three of them on the committee. So.
When I envisioned the appointment process in this committee, this is what I had envisioned. This is what I wanted to see happen, and I'm so glad that we've done this, because this is this is a really nice public process. You got a lot of great candidates coming forward. The public gets to see them vetted, and I got to tell you, I'm ready to flip a coin. I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's very hard. And I'm not just saying that because the three of them are sitting here looking at me. It's still very, very hard. It really is.
And it is inspiring to see people come out and want to step up, because it is a big commitment being on finance committee, and you're also a big target when you're sitting up there answering all of my questions that I promptly pass off to you at town meeting.
So, I don't know who wants to go first and make a recommendation. Skip.
Skip.
So I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian here.
I'm not surprised by that, Skip.
I enjoy
And being a strict constructionist, the town meeting put this decision in your hands. I feel as though the finance committee being involved at the beginning was just to provide some guidance to the esteemed new committee as it deliberated. But right now, we just sit in judgment of whether they are able to work on a multiple member board and have some financial or mathematics type background, which is their current job description. All three have that. And I don't really think that you guys need any instruction from us, nor should we be giving it. So that's my contrary view. So I will not express an opinion of any of them
I'm
over
gonna,
the other.
if I may, Don, I'm going to disagree with you, Skip. I think getting feedback on such an important appointment from the other members of that committee, I think is a very important part of the appointment process. And I welcome the feedback from the members of the finance committee in helping me determine who to support or recommend or make a motion for appointment to this committee. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for members of the finance committee to participate, and I envision this as a collaborative process between the appointment committee and the finance committee, and I welcome the input. So you and I can agree to disagree on the process, but I would welcome, if nobody wants to give feedback, that's fine, but I would welcome the feedback.
Well, I lean toward Kyle because I've worked with him. I've seen his work ethics and how he looks at things and how he thinks about things and how he works through things. So I tend to lean toward him.
So I kind of lean that way. As I say, so it's someone I've worked with. He applied before. He actually applied the same time as Skip and I did for that position. And so it's someone who has a track record in town, and has shown that they're able to do that. On the other hand, opening it up to more people is a good thing. I say that having been one of the people in his shoes when I was appointed. I was election worker and on CIPC at the time. And so it's kind of, there are points in both directions. One is having more people involved, and the other is accepting people that want to take on more responsibility.
Nick.
I'm glad it was just me the few weeks ago when I had to do this. I would have lost all three. I mean, I kind of agree with Greg's second point there. I think Kyle's qualified, but could also be good to get more people involved in the town. But I'm glad I'm not making the decision.
Yeah, it's
It's a tough decision
very
this
difficult.
time.
Angelina?
So I apologize. The first candidate's name again?
Gary.
Gary.
Gary. Okay. So I'm fascinated by Gary's background, having been involved in the police department and in those, in city politics for so long. I think that his perspective is very unique. I don't feel like we have you, Mark, obviously. You've been involved in government for a very long time, but the rest of us haven't. So I find that unique about him. And I certainly understand, not attending town meeting because he was ill and all of the needing to take a break and all of that kind of stuff. And in Victoria, I can relate to her enthusiasm. I felt like I connected to her, what she was saying very quickly. I also kind of geeked out on the finance committee and wanted to be part of it as soon as as soon as I saw some meetings and heard about what was going on. And then Kyle, he's a known commodity here and is already involved. So I don't know. I would be between, I think, Victoria and Gary, just because Kyle already has a position. I think, just like everyone else, that we really can't go wrong with any of them. Unfortunately for you, we're going to have to find a three-sided coin to flip here because they're all excellent. They're all excellent. But
And I hope that the other two that aren't appointed will continue to show an interest, and next time we have a vacancy, that they would come back again.
what district is everyone from?
Oh,
Gary is from, I have it right here, excuse me. Kyle is from precinct 5, Victoria is from precinct 5, and Gary is from precinct 3.
Okay. So we are
Precinct
kind of
5 is a
heavy
very
on
popular
precinct
precinct, isn't it?
5.
We are.
And I know that we were talking about
There's 4.
possibly redistricting or, changing how we were represented at some point down the road. So I don't know if that weighs into that decision at all. But.
Thank you for that. I like your analysis, Angelina. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're thinking a lot of, you're thinking the same way I was thinking going through this. I gotta tell you, this is Dawn. I wish Candy was here.
I know.
So, if I may,
Yes, please.
looking at all three candidates, Gary's background in municipal government, I think Angelina made a very, very strong, valid point on that. It's very helpful to have that on the finance committee. I think I've added to the process by my municipal experience, being a member. I think that's helped the committee in some instances. I think it's been very, very beneficial. Victoria's enthusiasm for wanting to be on this committee. I'm going to ask to check her mental capacity, but no, I'm kidding, Victoria. Her enthusiasm and the fact that she went through everything, tried to figure out where she wanted to participate, coming to town, I was really impressed with that. And Kyle's track record speaks for itself. I've heard nothing but amazing things about Kyle on the capital planning committee, and he's been a great member and comes highly recommended. So I'm still thinking, Don. I don't know what to do. I don't know what motion I'm going to make right now, and that's shocking because you guys all know I love to make motions. So,
He does.
So I'd like to hear from you, Don.
Well, every single one of you brings such a great background, and for all the reasons that were stated, Kyle coming and wanting to take on another role after already being on CIPC and an election worker, which is a lot of work. And Gary's background is, I agree, fascinating from a different perspective because it's not town, it's city, and you have the experience with the police budget and doing budgets in that large scale and the interdepartmental workings of all of that. But as someone who came to the decision to run for town moderator, having never done anything in town government before, I really love that Victoria's this excited, and the process that you went through to learn about the different boards and committees, and your feedback on town meeting is all fantastic. So it's really hard, and I honestly feel like all boards and committees should have this many people coming out with the enthusiasm, because there really is something for everyone that needs to have that if you have an interest in anything, you can find a board or committee that is going to align with your interests. So this is incredibly challenging. So
A motion has to be made.
yes.
Sue, this is a 3-year term through 2025?
That is correct.
Yes, because Andy's
Andy's term was up. Andy, yeah, because of being on the select board. So, Skip, you have a question?
Yeah, no, just a remark is sitting here and listening to people talk about this. With Gary's experience, he might give us a way outside our proverbial box way of looking at anything.
I think all
That's
three
what I'd
candidates
offer.
would
And
do
I
that.
wouldn't want to have to make this decision for you guys, and you kind of can't go wrong. So, or at least based on our discussion tonight, you can't
I
go
don't think we
wrong.
can make a bad decision, Don.
No.
Well, you only find out about it later, not now.
We should have asked them how they could work with Skip.
Yeah, that should have been the question. After
Yeah.
meeting Skip, does anybody want to withdraw from the, from the application
You're all
process?
still certain you're interested.
Just to clarify,
Please, Nick.
we can't add to the committee,
No,
right?
we are it's
Figured I'd ask.
the charter and the bylaw sets us as a 9-member committee, because believe me, that would be the easy thing, just expand, pretend we're the Supreme
trying to give
Court.
you a way out.
Make us bigger. We do have 14 minutes to
Yes,
think about
to
this before the next
continue
meeting, so we
deliberation.
You
can.
can't go wrong, Mark.
I know we can't go wrong. So this is a hard decision, but based on the feedback and listening to what Dawn had to say and everything else, I'd make a motion that we appoint Victoria Duckworth to the Finance Committee for a term to begin July 1st, 2022, and to expire on June 30th, 2025.
Seconded. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I declare the motion carried. Thank you all who applied. It speaks very highly of your commitment to the town to want to take on this responsibility, and we will keep your interest on file in the event a vacancy comes up during the coming fiscal year. Congratulations, Victoria.
Thank you. And Gary, thank you. And Kyle, thank you.
Gary, so much.
Believe me,
Thanks,
it was
Kyle.
not an easy decision.
Enjoy your Pride celebration.
Thank you. Congrats, Victoria.
Thank you, Kyle.
Okay, we have already approved the minutes of our last meeting, and I believe that was everything on the agenda.
I think so.
So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is now adjourned.
So I will call the meeting of the Grafton Finance Committee to order. We have present tonight Nick Rue, Heather's here, Greg, myself, our newest member who's not sworn in yet, Victoria, Sue. Online is Skip and Angelina. Is Dan online?
I do not see Dan just
Okay.
yet.
I am. Just logged in.
Oh, hi
Thank
Dan.
you, Dan. Thank you.
Hi Dan. So all yours, Colleen.
So Andy is an attendee. If we can promote him to panelist, that would be helpful.
Sue's an expert on doing that now.
I think he
Okay.
become an attendee.
And I think Matt's trying to jump on Zoom real quick. So we'll while we wait for Andy to get promoted, hopefully he jumps on too. Wednesdays, it's real tricky for us. We're very hard Tuesday people. There's Matt.
Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, hey.
All right, so I can start with a roll call. I'll do Matt,
I am present.
Andy,
Present.
Anne-Marie,
Fully present.
and Colleen is here. And Ray is not going to be attending tonight.
So first thing on the agenda is to review line item transfers. So I'll turn it over to Evan, you or Mary?
I think Mary's gonna lead this part of the conversation.
Go ahead, Mary.
You have to unmute Mary.
I think she's.
Can we take that down so we can see?
Yeah, hey, Sue, take down the agenda so we can see everybody, please.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So could you please put up the fiscal year and transfer?
Now put that
request
up on the
so
screen, Sue.
Right.
That's very funny.
Let's
But yeah, I can start.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really tricky for this, to complete this because there was a lot of things, a lot of moving parts going on. And as you all know, the energy prices have increased, the gas, the diesel has increased, and, well, geez, inflation as well. I have a list of transfers that will be needed to make these accounts whole. You'll notice I'm moving some expense back to the salary, and back before when I did these transfers, we had all consultants and temps filling these positions. And we were so fortunate, we were able to fill a couple positions. And so now I need to transfer, the expense money back into the salary account lines to then now pay the said employees. So that was, for the selectmen and the assessor and the HR salary. I also needed a little more money with the municipal center energy line. That was a little over budget, so I did transfers there. Some of them are like short money, so they went into deficit because, again, of energy, and so I'll just need some short money to cover June's expenses. And then, so if anybody had any questions on any specific transfers, I'd be happy to answer them. But again, they're just all because of the energy increase and inflation. And Evan and I, we did put a spending freeze back in early June. But what happened was some of these items also were on back order. And guess what? Now they get delivered in June, and now we have to pay the invoices. So that happened to a few accounts. It happened with the snow and ice. So I need another 10,000 to make that account whole.
Sue, are you gonna be able to share the screen? There are some members that don't know what Mary's talking about.
I am sharing the screen, am I not?
No.
No.
I am so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm looking at it. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we'll do that again.
This is the fun part of these meetings when we're all waiting.
Oh goodness.
Will it happen? Sue, what was the total amount of transfers?
329, 690.
I'm sorry?
On this?
Yeah.
329, 690.
329.
That's the correct amount, right, Laura? Because it changed a couple of times.
It should actually, I believe it's 329,090. Because there, if you look at the list that Mary sent out, there was a duplication of 600, a little bit down, so you back that 600 out.
Okay, I was just gonna ask about
I
that.
sent you another one. Yeah, I took that one off.
I caught that one today.
Did you really?
I did. I had it on my screen in
All
my
right.
office. I said, Mary, I'm very disappointed.
So the total amount of transfers is 329,090. Mike, if I may ask a question, to Mary, what's this doing to our free cash?
Well,
I'm sorry, Evan, did you not want me to ask that?
No, I like when Mary goes, well.
no, I'm just trying to, it's not gonna, well, what it is what happens is whatever you have in excess will close to free cash. So this money will not close to free cash because now I'll have to transfer it to other accounts.
So that's my question.
Yeah.
So what is the impact of this 329?
If I can jump in, Mary.
Certainly.
Do you want me to, or do you want to go?
No, you can.
Okay. So this will not be a stellar year for us, free cash wise.
I think for everybody.
Right. I mean, I think the writing is on the wall. A lot of these moving pieces are either because of unanticipated cost increases, and also, we clearly had over budgeted in sanitation, and then we had under budgeted in health insurance. Some of that just finding equilibrium. I I think we've corrected a lot of this in fiscal 23. Of course, we've got 8% inflation and fuel costs out of it, so who knows really by the time we get to the end of it. I think that we'll see a lower free cash number come in. It won't be catastrophic for us. I think we're still going to be in good shape. We've had other one-time revenues coming in that I think will help buoy that, but it won't be it's not going to be a banner year.
So looking at this 329,000 and looking at your budget for FY23, how do you feel, you know, does this have a significant impact, these transfers? Do you think those line items are properly funded in fiscal year 23?
I do. In looking through, and you know, Mary and I looking at hindsight of the fiscal 22 budget, which we made insignificant tweaks to, I think, in that budget process. And then looking what we did when we kind of created fiscal 23 from the ground up. I think we've successfully caught a lot of this. We've adjusted our energy lines. The question is going to come down to, did we adjust them enough? Probably not. But we'll be a lot closer than 329,000.
Okay. Are there any other members for the finance committee?
So I see additional 50,000 in DPW repair and maintenance. Was that energy related too, or is that just?
Yeah, the energy costs at the DPW are almost $100,000 more than they budgeted for in fiscal 22.
Oh,
Okay.
we budgeted 30,000 and so far they have 129,000 in energy costs
And what do we budget
this
for next
fiscal year.
Next year we budgeted 100.
We'll probably have a problem next year too.
Probably. I think we have some other conversations to have about, we need to be doing two different things, right? Which one is budgeting properly and also making sure we're examining our energy costs appropriately.
Understood. Any other questions, Greg?
Yep.
Heather, Nick, anything?
I'm assuming police maintenance is the same thing.
Police maintenance.
The last one.
Yep, correct. That is, well, let me back up. Mary, was that energy or were we doing?
Yeah, the chief just said he needed additional money.
So in my
The
conversation,
chief says I need money, you just here you go.
no, I've been talking to the chief about part of our conversation has revolved around our next cruiser purchase and outfitting them with equipment that we normally would have just rolled from one cruiser into the next cruiser, but seeing that they're close to end of life, doing that now.
Yep.
Because
That makes sense.
It made sense to do that. I think that's the underlying bucket of that.
And that's still within the police budget.
Yeah,
so.
right. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not leaving the budget. I think historically, if you look back, that's a pretty common thing in the police budget for Grafton, around 20,000 at the end of the year. So we'll look at that too.
Evan, can you just give a little bit of information on the MIS GIS expense?
So MIS GIS expense is the misnomer way that Grafton catches their technology budget.
Yep.
And so we were a little bit heavy on our tech from what we started with. And so that's just us going a little over on our tech budget, which I think we've appropriately captured in the next fiscal year.
Is that equipment or is that the company that we use? What is it?
So that is probably a combination of the two. I think we were about 6,500 ish in equipment, and the rest was.
All right.
We're right in the opening stages. I've put the pump the brakes on our transition to Office 365. That starts in earnest in July. And one of the reasons I had to pump the brakes is that we were right up near this cap. So we did a lot of tech work this year.
Yep. Okay.
Please.
This might be a silly question, but municipal center wages, that seems sort of,
That's janitorial, and so we've had we've had some turnover, which has driven our cost up just a little bit.
we're taking it out of there.
Yeah, driven it down.
Sorry,
Driven
driven
it
it
down.
down. I said
Okay.
it backwards.
I'm
I
like, wait a
apologize.
minute.
Yes.
Okay.
Mary, that makes up for the $600 earlier.
So the 10,000 for planning is the leave, Chris's leave.
So that was the 10. No,
No.
that fiscal 20 22, they had put in a half part-time or a half assistant planner, and there's no way to get an half assistant
Right.
planner, and that was the conversation with the Affordable Housing Trust and yada yada, and that was all kind of going on right when I started, and then kind
You
of
pulled that out of the budget and redid everything this year with that.
Yeah, the whole thing changed this year. Yeah.
So is there a different strategy for the Affordable Housing Trust admin work?
Yep, Amber's sitting right next to me, so we'll be getting to that. And
She's on the agenda, Matt, if you want to stick to the finance committee meeting after this.
All right.
So
Sounds good.
So yeah, so that was right when I started. It was a half planner conversation, and then
Yeah.
once I had met Bruce and talked to other members, and Affordable Housing Trust had time to cogitate on it, they were looking more for an admin than an assistant planner.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we moved forward with our own assistant planner progress, but then captured some of those Affordable Housing Trust hours into the admin that's in our office.
I see. Okay.
Any other
Is there a
questions from members
second
of the
page
finance?
to this, or is this the whole list?
That's the whole
That's
list.
the whole list.
Got
Evan,
it.
are we
Okay.
still on a year-by-year basis for the health insurance?
Yes, we just did a 1 year increase.
Okay.
Or it was an increase. We did a 1 year renewal. We're gonna be starting in August with the group looking at our next move.
Okay.
Cause it's probably not sustainable for this.
What was
year.
what was the final increase with that end up
Was it 6.84, Mary? Final
I think it was
increase?
6.74.
Not too,
Increase.
that's not that bad.
No, we were a little, Mary and I were a little disappointed, so the PEC voted to not change, the dental plan. We would have saved about another %.
And
But,
our HRAs are gonna increase too.
and so the town's absorbing some of that. But we'll be looking at everything, GIC, multi-year, I mean, everything.
Good.
So, other collaboratives, we've already started talking to one, so, yeah, I don't want to do the year to year anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other questions from members of the finance committee?
Yeah.
Dan, Skip?
Colleen has
Colleen
her
has.
hand up.
Colleen's on the FinCom?
No, she had her hand.
Oh, sorry.
Not anymore.
Go ahead, Colleen.
This is just a question because I'm curious. On the snow and ice overtime, it's $10,009. Is that just because it's emptying out the long-term debt, or how do you land on 10,009 for that?
So
Yeah, it's just emptying out the long-term debt.
Okay.
I think it's like it's like almost 10,000 that the snow and ice needed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from members of the finance committee? Colleen, did anybody else from the select board have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to, just on the Medicare, FICA, and then the other, I know you touched a little bit on the group insurance, or in that second
Yep.
group insurance category, so that being out of line in terms of budget was related to increases, or?
Well, so two things. One, we did not adjust those numbers from the numbers that we got from the interim.
Okay.
So we hadn't really gotten our heads around how that was going to look. It's always a little bit of a educated guess because you lose employees, you bring employees in, the school department changes some things, a lot of things move around. I think we've adequately or close to adequately corrected that issue, watching what was happening in fiscal 23 and applied that appropriately to through fiscal 22 and into fiscal 23. So that's really what that was. We didn't adjust any numbers. We took what we were given, left it alone with the intent that we're probably going to have to tweak something towards the end.
Okay.
You didn't have enough money for the selectman's salary?
No, well, who cares?
Well, true. I don't, because
No.
we don't get paid.
No.
Usually there's budgeted for each of them.
Yeah, Mayor, why are we moving that? I can't. We talked this morning. I can't remember.
Oh, that's because of the new hire. So we're taking it out of
Oh.
the expense and I'm putting it in the salary.
It's
because
not
we
the
only-
actual board
it's
members.
not-
It's,
okay.
I had a tiny bit
You want
of
to pay the new
money.
employee? That's
Yeah.
kind of a good thing.
Right. No,
Yeah,
that's,
and it's only
I wasn't
9
thinking that
days.
either.
Okay.
Plus, I had a
Yep.
zing at the select board, so
Okay.
whenever I can,
All right.
take it.
If there are no other questions, I'd entertain a motion from the, we have to do two separate votes, right, Mary? One from the select board, one from the finance committee. So Colleen, do you mind if I go first?
No, go for it.
So I'd entertain a motion from the finance committee to approve, transfers in the amount of $320,090 as presented.
So moved.
So
Second.
moved.
All right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call, Nick?
Yes.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Okay, we're unanimous.
And then for the select board, I'll entertain a motion to approve the $329,090 year-end transfers as presented.
Moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Matt?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Emery?
Aye.
Colleen, aye. Go ahead, motion carried.
So, Evan, I'll leave this with you and Colleen will come by tomorrow to sign it.
Yes.
All right, select board, you are more than welcome to stay and enjoy the fun finance committee, meeting that we still have some business to go on. So I'll go into the next thing, and we have some reserve fund transfer requests coming in. The first one is for $10,000 to go to the town administrator, professional and technical. Replacement of the Welcome to Grafton sign on Route 140 across from Wyman Gordon. Current sign is rotten and crumbling. Replacement sign to be constructed of non-wood materials to ensure longer lifespan. New sign to be aluminum and granite to withstand salt and snow from winter plowing. Evan, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah. So as you're coming down into Grafton from Millbury, and you see on the right-hand side the sign right across the street from Wyman Gordon, it's in really bad shape. I did put one picture on there. It's actually delaminating, so you can put your hand actually inside the sign. So I found it because someone had, when they were doing the 244 Worcester Street, someone had taped
Right.
signs with duct tape on and that irks me because I know how much a sign costs. So I went to take it down,
And you almost took the whole sign
yeah,
down?
it was in real bad shape. So we reached out to, we got one price from a local sign company, and we'll obviously follow procurement law, but talk to them about having something aluminum etched, made with stone pillars, so that, sand, salt, everything, it should last us a lot longer. Plus, once we have the pillars and everything, if we ever have to replace the interior piece because of rot or whatever, we can do that separately.
It's awesome.
These signs lasted longer than I thought, because EDC went out and got donations for every one of our signs in town, so I was surprised they lasted this long.
Yeah, and they're beautifully done.
Yep.
Any questions, any other questions from members of the finance committee? Being none, I'd entertain a motion to approve this, reserve fund transfer. Well, before I do that, Sue, you said there's 35,000 left in the reserve fund?
I said that we spent 40,551 after tonight.
Oh, after
So-
tonight? Oh,
After
so that
tonight.
included tonight. I misunderstood.
So we're good.
So we got plenty, we got
When you
plenty.
said that earlier, I was like, I don't think I asked for that much.
No, I misunderstood what Sue had said to me. I didn't know she'd already included these into the list.
Miri was doing stuff when I wasn't around.
So I'd entertain, I'd entertain a motion to approve a reserve fund transfer in the amount of $10,000 as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call, Nick?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
I declare the vote unanimous. The next reserve fund transfer request is for $2,500 for the replacement of American flags as part of the police department's ongoing lining of public in Grafton for the summer. While the department does fundraise throughout the year, the cost of flags has doubled, leaving the flag fund low. Did you put that in there on purpose so I trip over the words?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Alliteration.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Every time.
Go ahead, Evan.
So pretty straightforward. The request is, I stopped down and was talking to the officers. They were in the Sallyport one night, and they were replacing flags. And they've been fundraising for these flags, and they're in charge. They do it on their own. They go out and they change these. I think it was Neil Minardi and Sergeant Crosby and Officer O'Brien that I was talking to, and they were talking about how hard it is now to get. It's not hard to get money from residents. I think residents are pretty supportive of Grafton Police and American flags and all of that stuff. But just the money that they're bringing in for their program does not go as far as it really needs to. And so I had said, well, I don't have a line item for that, but I'd be happy to go to bat for you with the finance committee and see if that's something that they wanted to fund. And if not, then, I would figure it out through the budget in the next fiscal year.
Let me ask you a question. It's for unforeseen. I guess you can sort of say this is unforeseen, but why didn't we add this to the line item transfer list?
Because I did not ask Mary to do that for me.
Okay, all right. Because I think it's a worthy expenditure. It's just
And again, so if it's on that cusp and FinCom's not comfortable with that, I'll figure it out in the next year's budget, and we'll either do it as a transfer or we'll figure it out through P&T. But I did tell them that I would do this, and
like I said, I have no problem with the. I was just curious why it wasn't on the.
I did not. That's all on me. I did not bring that to Mary.
Colleen, please reprimand Evan when you have a chance. We're gonna do that. I don't have an issue. Do you guys have anybody have
No,
an
I
issue with
don't.
this?
I just, I wouldn't say no to the police officers, so.
Is this gonna be
I know
annual?
better.
So that's a conversation that we need to have. I would just add that as a line item, and this will cover fiscal 23.
Okay, so this gets through the next.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
All
be
right.
good. We won't need anything in fiscal 23. So fiscal 24, if we need to add, $1,500, $2,000 line item for, I think that's a.
So we'll either encumber this or spend it by tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Fiscal year ends tomorrow, so kind of makes
Correct.
sense. All right. Any further discussion? Go ahead.
Skip had his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Skip.
So there isn't actually an existing place for this now, right? It doesn't exist in the budget.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's gonna Skip. He's recommending that we put into police office supplies, police department office supplies.
Yeah, I just didn't see like an agenda or anything for it. That's all.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Is there any further discussion?
I'm gonna have one question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, one more. So
Please.
does the police officer supplies right now have surplus or no?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Because we just transferred 21,000. We could have transferred 23,500, but I don't want to say
Hindsight's
anything.
Hindsight's 2020.
We'll continue to.
Look at Mary's face right now. She's like, look at this guy out there. Just
Can we
doing
continue to
whatever he
berate
wants
Evan?
like it's the Wild West?
It is fun.
We won't
berating
mention it again.
We won't mention it again, but
Okay, I'm good.
go ahead. Any other comments? All right, being none, I'd entertain a motion to approve a reserve fund transfer in the amount of $2,500 for the purpose stated to go to police office.
So moved.
Second.
Any further
Second.
discussion? All those by roll call. Nick?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
All right, perfect. The next one is for $10,000 to the Municipal Center Repair and Maintenance Account, the Grafton Historical Society Building. Formerly, the South Grafton Library suffered power failure as a result of faulty wiring. The wiring was external to the building and ran between the meter socket and the pole. Project included trenching by town staff, replacement of the meter, conduit and connections. Exterior wiring was original 1935 vintage. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
It is. It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Any questions
Hey.
on,
Move we approve
is there a second?
transfer request.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just
Go ahead.
Municipal Center repair and maintenance, so there isn't a
Nope.
line item for that
No,
one?
so we that's something we have to discuss whether we need that or what we're gonna do.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Nick?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Sue?
Aye.
I want to say Andy. I was at the old flow there. I'm fighting that. Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
All right. And then the final reserve fund transfer, I think this is kind of an important one. It is to pay our administrative personnel, short $724. It's additional hours needed for the last 2 weeks of the fiscal year. Sue called me the other day, her and I spoke about this, and it absolutely makes total sense. We need her she's here tonight.
Right.
She's gonna do the minutes to get those done. Thank you, Sue, for being here. So I would entertain a motion to approve a reserve fund transfer in the amount of $724 to go into the Finance Committee Administrative Personnel line item.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Nick?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Sue? Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan? All right, perfect. So, thank you very much for that. Next on the agenda, I believe you have a young lady sitting next to you that you want to introduce to the Finance Committee.
Yes, so as you know, we've been looking for administrative staff both in my office, the Affordable Housing Trust, and the Finance Committee. It's been quite a challenge. Then we met Amber and knew right away we wanted to hire Amber. I called her 10 minutes after she left the interview. So we offered the position.
I was at a red light. I wasn't even home yet.
So we called and Amber accepted, and so she's been here for a little over a week.
Yeah.
Doing wonderful things in the office, putting up with both Will and I. Sydney's not there to be the adult in the room, so just wanted to introduce you to Amber and get everything set up so that you and Sue can probably schedule some time.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, so Sue, I asked Sue if she would be willing to come out to Grafton in the next week or so.
Okay.
So the four of us can sit down and talk about transition.
Yeah.
Set up a time to do that, if that's okay. Let me get some dates from Sue. I'll reach out to you, Evan, and we'll coordinate a time during the day. I'll be more than happy to meet during the day.
Awesome.
And then we'll figure out transition. Does that make sense to the Finance Committee?
Yep.
I want to keep Sue on for a period of time to help Amber do the transition. There's a lot of, Sue was our administrative assistant for, Sue, what are we talking, 40 years?
35.
35 years, so there's a lot of institutional knowledge that she is going to give you in about an hour. So you'll be able to retain
Yeah.
all of that. So we'll set up a meeting and we'll
Absolutely.
take it from there.
Amber, do you want to introduce yourself to the Finance Committee? Look at that, put you right on the spot. You love that, don't you?
It's nice to meet you all.
Well,
Thanks for
welcome.
having me tonight.
Welcome. We look forward to working with you over the next, hopefully, several years.
35 years. That's
Yeah,
the
35 years. You didn't realize that when you signed up for 35 years, so. That's great. So Sue, you and I, let's figure out a time. I would really appreciate you coming out to Grafton so we can sit down in person, easier than on Zoom. So I think that would be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
So, and then we'll figure out how long we'll keep Sue on for the transition, and we'll probably have to do something to the budget to figure out how to do that. I'm sure you and Mary and I can figure
Oh
all
yeah,
that out.
we'll just tell Mary at the last minute like I like to do and
Take it
see
from
how
there.
that goes.
Well, welcome. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, so that takes care of that. Consideration and vote for the COLA for the Finance Committee Assistant current position. We want, for the time being that Sue is here in fiscal year, we want her to get the same cost of living adjustment that all other municipal employees got.
Mary, did we already do that? I can't remember if we did that we didn't do that in budget?
No.
Come on.
But like we don't really have a budget for,
Okay.
because everything's in the selectman's office now for Amber.
Oh, right, we did it that way. Yes.
But
So-
I'll do a blue sheet for Sue Fiacco, and I'll give the COLA, the 2%.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So you don't need a vote from us or anything
Nope,
to do
we'll
that?
take care of it.
Thank
That
you
was
very,
just
very
a-
much. I appreciate
I
that.
think that's just an oversight
Thank you.
on our part. Sorry about that, Sue.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Thank you.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is
Got
a,
it, and-
oh, sorry, go ahead. Skip, go ahead, Skip.
Nope, you're
Still muted.
Muted.
You gotta turn on your mic.
I told him he was muted, but I was also muted.
That was the most intelligent I've ever heard, Skip.
Oh, jeez.
I agree with Skip on that.
There you go.
Go ahead, Skip.
Oh, I'm done.
We didn't hear anything you said. You were muted.
Look, he's muted. This is the best.
Okay, speak.
Do you want to tell us what? No, now you're muted again. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next thing on the agenda.
It
Yeah,
was
hurry up.
We're not usually this disorganized, Amber, I promise you
I'm
that.
sure it
They
was
say that every
important.
time, but you know.
So we have minutes.
I hate this thing.
What'd he say?
I hate this thing.
Is there anything you want to say, Skip?
Go on, come to the meetings then.
No? All right.
No,
have
I was
minutes- Oh.
remonstrating with you for failing to complete the blue sheet on a timely basis.
Oh, okay. Then I well deserved. I have one set of minutes for approval, Wednesday, May 18th. I entertain a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any
Second.
further discussion? All those in favor by roll call. Nick?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Mark? Aye. Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Okay, now we have something on here that I don't know why we're on here. It's review of our reorganization for May 18th. What do we need to review? You guys gonna boot me out as chair?
I don't know why it's on there.
Is there a reason why that's on there?
Are you seeing the screen? I'm just making sure we've got everything, all of our ducks in a row.
Oh,
So what I did is I put down what we had, what you folks had voted on May 18th. And the committees, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So when I formalize it to all the committees and to town clerk, we've got all of our ducks in a row.
and Andy, there was no problem with the select board having Andy stay on as our library rep?
Nope, everybody was in favor of that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you doing that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, that's everything we voted.
Yep. Okay. So so there was
Well,
that.
actually, no, hold on a second. Well, wait a minute. No, you're right.
Yeah,
Never mind.
that's right.
It's right. Yep. Perfect. All right. And then,
Okay.
so now we have to schedule our first meeting.
So last year's meeting was September 1st. And as I am looking at roughly the schedule, and certainly Amber will be looking at that with Evan and Mary and William. So I thought the last meeting, it was going to be either August 24th or August 31st. And now I've kind of moved it a little bit forward for you. Do we need to meet, Evan, is there going to be a TRICOM, a sub-TRICOM before in August, so that finance committee will meet? There was discussion of that. I don't know, is that going to be in August or September for a group meeting with select board and everyone, all 9 members and all 5 members, or
Well,
is it going
when's
to
the
be a sub?
TRICOM? We were gonna meet with you guys in August, I
Yeah,
think.
that's what I was just trying to think back.
I
Yes.
think
For
it was
5-year
Yes,
projection?
I think I agree.
So we should probably meet sometime after that meeting, and then we can update the FinCom on what we discussed at the
Yep, I
TRICOM.
agree.
So
Yes.
why don't we plan, that's a good point, Sue. So why don't we plan on our first meeting, like, is September 7th okay? I know that's a Labor Day week,
Can we do the next week?
the 14th?
I'm not around the next week.
You're not here on the 14th? Will you be available remotely or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at a conference.
Oh, no, then you're gonna wanna do that. 7 doesn't work for you,
I'll
Heather?
be on vacation.
Okay, well, that doesn't work, so. Victoria, what's your schedule look like? Because we're gonna decide who we like better, Greg or Heather.
It's on me. Oh man, I look like I'm kind of open both weekends, which is or weeks, which is not helpful.
So that works for you? Either date works for you?
Either day works for me.
Yeah, either date works.
Angelina and Dan, Skip, 7th or 14th, do you have a preference?
Oh,
What was the 7th or the what?
14th.
Labor
14th.
Day. Labor Day is September 5th.
Yeah, I think the 14th would be better.
All right, does that sound, I'm sorry, if you can join remotely,
Yeah.
that would be great. So why don't we set the date for September 14th for our kickoff meeting of the year? And then we'll figure out, we'll know what the town meeting date's gonna be, and we'll be able to schedule public hearings and
Yep, do all that.
all that
Yes.
sort of fun stuff.
Yes, I set that up as proposed, and certainly that can be reviewed, as you know. But I am anticipating that our public hearings will begin the 28th, the 29th, and October 4th. The 28th is the latest that we can go, and that's as far out as we usually go. And I put some ideas as to when we could receive the warrant, et cetera.
Town meeting's gonna be the 17th.
I saw that.
I'm probably
I'd wanna
going to
make sure
be
you
on
know that.
vacation.
I saw it on I see it on the list, and it's like, well, we could try to do something different, but then I'd have to tell Sue I'm going to change it, and I don't want it.
Yeah, it's all proposed.
No,
So,
let-
and I'm going to be on vacation, Evan, so don't you worry. There's
Okay.
no problems there.
Just out of curiosity, for the TRICOM meeting, have you started working on projections?
Yeah, so I project our projections will be done probably in the middle of August.
Okay,
We've had a couple of meetings. We know what we don't like and what we don't like our assumptions on, so we're honing in.
okay.
I always have grandiose timelines in my head, and I was like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
be done in July, but then June comes and
Yep.
municipalities like cockroaches turn on a light switch. Can't find anybody.
Yeah,
So, you know, use it or lose it time, and then we get into July and we're just getting into the fiscal year. So August is a realistic expectation.
Okay.
Mid-August.
And that timeline for finance committee public hearings for the warrant makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
All right, that's perfect.
Just another question.
Please.
Are you going to be meeting with department heads in August for the CIPC,
We
the
will.
capital?
Yep.
You will be?
Yep.
Okay, so can you just notify me so I can listen? Are you gonna have it on Zoom or are we gonna have a meeting here?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Okay, just
I'd like
notify
to do
me.
it in person. I get a much better vibe when I do it.
Yeah,
in
you
person.
do. So I would just like to attend just to hear.
Yep.
What's the set?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll send out
Okay.
an invitation to everybody.
Okay.
You're all welcome.
All right. I think that's it. Sue, am I missing anything?
No, I think we're in great shape. Thank you.
Amber, it's very nice to meet you. Look forward to working with you. Evan, thank you for being here. I'll leave this in your
Yeah, I'll take care.
capable hands.
When we go.
Thank you, everybody. I'll declare us adjourned. Good meeting, and congratulations and welcome.
Thank you
Nice
so
to have
much.
you on here.
Yeah, very exciting.